Welcome. You're tuned to the Urban Affairs program. It's time to get up for Urban Perspectives with your host, Pete Rhodes.
Welcome. You're watching Urban Perspectives. This edition is sponsored in part by UCare and BMAnetworks.com. I'm your host, Pete Rhodes. On this episode, we'll discuss social action programs presented by local African-American, Greek, and fraternal organizations that contribute to the growth and the vibrancy of the urban communities. Meet the brothers of Kappa, Alpha, Psi, Omega Psi Phi, and Phi Beta Sigma fraternities here on Urban Perspectives. My first guest is the pole mark of the St. Paul, Minneapolis alumni chapter of the North Central Province Board of Directors for Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. His goal is to continue the organization's focus on being highly diverse in thinking and skillfully trained in their abilities to lead in every field of human endeavor. It's my pleasure to welcome to Urban Perspectives pole mark, Keith Lewis. Keith, how you doing?
Pretty good. And yourself, Pete?
I'm good.
Good.
Just often see each other once a month with the monitors, a fellow monitor as well. And just really glad to have you on board here. I, like a lot of our audience, probably want to know, when did the Kappas first launch here in the metropolitan Minneapolis area? And most of the organizations have a lot of national figures. Maybe you can tell us a few of them that are part of the Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity.
Sure. Kappa Alpha Psi was chartered on the campus of the University of Minnesota on April 19th, 1924. Wow. So we've had a presence here for a number of years. Our alumni chapter was chartered on February 27th, 1954 for St. Paul, Minneapolis. So some of our notable members are, we have Robert L. Johnson, who's the founder of BET.
Yes.
Cedric the Entertainer's a Kappa. As well as, Johnny Cochran's a Kappa.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Bill Russell, first African-American coach in the NBA, and Bernard Harris, first African-American to walk in space.
Wow. Yeah, some great notable individuals part of this organization. Great work that you're doing. Now, what do you do, Keith, as pole mark?
It's a good question. Pretty busy. Basically, I'm responsible for the operations of our alumni chapter and provide oversight for our undergraduates at the University of Minnesota. So I have a board of directors and officers, and we put together a long-term and a tactical plan for our chapters for the course of the year.
So speaking of which, social action programs is a major part of all the organizations, including yours, of course. What are some of the programs currently being done with your organization?
We work with the Phyllis Wheatley Center on an annual basis. We work with them to sponsor a Santa breakfast. And we also participate in a program called Adopt a Family, where we adopt families over the Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays. We recently started a mentoring program, reading program at Zanewood Elementary School in Brooklyn Park. During our winter leadership conference for undergraduates that was sponsored here at the University of Minnesota, we did a service project for the Domestic Abuse Project here in Minneapolis.
I see. A lot of great work, a lot of time put in by the fellow brothers. That's fantastic. Now, how does the fraternity engage and inspire future members? How do you recruit out there, and how do you get them behind all the great things that need to be done?
Well, we don't really recruit, but in terms of inspiring youth, we have two national programs. We have our Guide Right program that focus in on youth, especially males, in elementary school through grade 8th. We also have our Kappa League program that focuses in on high school age students. And those programs provide mentoring as well as tutoring programs for those students. And we teach them life skills. We also do tutoring for the ACT and SAT.
Yeah. So how do you see it in working with those type of programs, Keith? How do you see it inspire those young men?
Well, first of all, we want to inspire them to achieve higher, to look outside of their communities, to go to college. So we have a bunch of members of our chapter and our fraternity that are involved in various business sectors, so we can give them a new perspective on things as they look ahead at life post-high school.
Yeah. Now, what do you want your leadership under your administration? You've been, this is the second term?
Yes, second term.
What do you want your legacy to be in advancing the goals of the fraternity?
That's a really tough question. I really haven't thought about it, but several things. We want to increase our presence in the Twin Cities, especially in the African American community, get more involved in more grassroots operations. We do have our programs, but we do partner with organizations. We have members of our chapter that participate in the Jack and Jill Rites of Passage programs as mentors. We also have members of our church that are ministers, of our chapter that are ministers, and we participate in programs that they sponsor through their churches. So I want us to increase that particular piece of our involvement in the community. And also, I want to implement and sustain Guide Right and Kappa League here in the Twin Cities. So that's something that I'm looking to do pretty soon here.
How did it inspire you? How did this fraternity inspire you years ago to want to join and become part of the leadership even today?
You know, both my parents are Greek.
Okay.
I grew up learning a lot about African American fraternities and sororities through my parents and through their friends. And I saw how they were involved in the community and how they put themselves out there to help others. And, you know, as I went to college and learned more about Kappa Alpha Psi and the other Greek organizations, I felt it was something that I wanted to do. And I had a bunch of friends that were Kappas, and that probably pushed me in that direction.
Yeah. Would you say numbers here of Kappas are what?
We have approximately, I think, there are probably around 300 Kappas in the Twin Cities. In our chapter, we have approximately 60 of those that are active members of our local chapter and our grand chapter. So we do call on everyone. And when we have a project, it's all hands on deck. So we do get participation from our outlying members.
In the few seconds we have left, what would you say to help inspire a young person out there to go further, to be stronger and do more?
I think you have to look past your boundaries and reach high. So don't limit yourself to your surroundings. Look ahead and reach out and take that leap of faith.
Yeah. Good news, good information on the organization, the fraternity, and I wish you all the best in your administration.
Thank you very much.
Keep us posted on the good things that you guys are doing.
Sure will.
All right, Keith, thank you. Weekly here on Urban Perspectives, we present Shining Stars, highlighting people, places, and events that contribute to the vibrancy of the urban community. Our Shining Star this week was voted the best hip-hop artist by readers of City Pages. He is a board member of the Culture Club Collaborative and prides himself on being a mentor in the music community. Meet our shining star, Malik Wakiins, a.k.a. Ndely.
My name is Malik, hip-hop artist, entrepreneur, LLC owner, and community organizer. What got me started was pretty much at a very young age. I've always been into music, loved the element of performance. Remember going all the way back to listening to Michael Jackson records, Terrence Trent D'Arby, Stevie Wonder, Donny Hathaway. And then as I got older, I really got into hip-hop because it was almost as if all the other artists or rappers were father figures through music. They had a language, or I connected with them on a level that other guys in my community or men I couldn't connect with. So it was like, oh, I want to be a part of that.
My government is majesty, madly in love that I lean towards a legacy you represent a month. And my goal is quite known to drive the game cycle.
My journey started in 2007, quite honestly. I dropped my first project, real rough around the edges, needed a lot of work, no mixing, no mastering. A couple years later, dropped another project called The Passion, and that really, I think, set the lane or the tone for me, specifically in the Twin Cities, but then also national blogs and publications were looking at me, and I was like, I think I can really do this. I've been on 2 tours. One was for about a week, and then another one I did a national tour with Brother Ali, Rhymesayers own, one of their staples in town. So that was an 8-week experience, and it was amazing. It changed my life, essentially. The Twin Cities has given me so much love, including Rhymesayers, to Get Crifey, to fans and supporters, my family. It's a home. It's given me a place to call home, being an artist. I feel as if I've really been embraced as a child or a staple in the family tree almost of the Twin Cities history. And I want to be up there with the greats. This is Malik, hip-hop artist, entrepreneur, community activist, and you're watching Urban Perspectives.
Thanks, Mally. Join me next as we discuss, shall I say, the social action programs will be Omega Psi Phi Fraternity with the Vice Bossless of the Epsilon Road Chapter. Meet Patrick Cunningham here on Urban Perspectives. Welcome back to Urban Perspectives. Our next guest's professional experience helps protect the well-being of children and families while creating community engagement as a licensed social worker. His work contributes also to the mission of the Epsilon Rho chapter of Omega Phi Psi fraternity, shall I say. Joining us here on Urban Perspectives is the Vice Bossless, Patrick Cunningham. Patrick, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good, good. Glad to have you here. You know, we talked a little bit offset about the conclave that we were involved here with you guys a few years ago, brother
Dwayne Dutrell.
Dwayne Dutrell.
Yes, yes.
Good guy, good guy. We had fun. You guys, I'm sure the city had fun as well. You guys did a great job.
It was a great experience for us to have a national conclave here in the Twin Cities.
Yeah, great. Well, let's start off by asking, when and where did the Omega Psi Phi fraternity launch in the Twin Cities, and who are some of your notable individuals that are part of the fraternity?
Okay, well, Epsilon Rho was founded March 9th, 1962.
Okay.
And that's when it was launched. And then before that, it was launched to support Xi chapter, which is at the University of Minnesota. And they was founded as single letter. Xi chapter was founded in 1921.
Oh, fantastic. Now, who are some of those, because I know I saw a lot of stars here during the conclave.
You could name stars notable. You could say Jesse Jackson is one of our notable. Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal.
Okay.
The list goes on, but those are very notable. Charles Drew.
The scientists, yes.
The scientists. Carter G. Woodson is also as a member. So we got quite a few, and I'm very excited to say that you know, our fraternity has produced African American males who's excelling in the community.
That's fantastic.
Done a lot of good
You're
things.
doing great work here as well. Now, what is the meaning of the title Vice Bossless?
Vice Bossless is a position where they're managing the mandated programs. My position is to make sure we continue to have our mandated programs, which is 10 mandated programs that we use. So I oversee the mandated programs to make sure we continue to be visible in the communities.
That's great. Speaking of which, Omega Psi Phi and the Epsilon chapter here, of those mandated programs, one of which is the voters registration, education, and mobilization. I know you do a lot of others. Explain to us what some of those programs do and how important are they?
Well, a few of the programs that we do Achievement Week. Achievement Week is that where we identify students in high school or maybe who are doing great in school. Scholarships, we give out scholarships to college students to go to high school students who's going to college, or first year college students who are going into college. We provide scholarships for them. We also have a talent hunt, where we also identify talent in the community. So we do a big talent show. Dwayne Dutrell is one of the chairperson who's been doing it for quite a while. We do that. The memorial service, where we recognize individuals of the fraternity who has passed away. So we do a memorial service for that. We also we do reclamation, which is very important that we continue to focus on, because we have to continue to bring members, keep members active in our chapter. Yes,
that's great. Now, in 2011, as we talked about earlier, you did the conclave here in the Twin Cities, and as hosts, what benefits do you think that it did for not only the organization but for the city?
Okay. Well, it happened in 2012.
2012.
2011 was the centennial.
Okay.
But what it done, it provided us with national notoriety in the community. Also, it provided money, economically, money into the community. It provided. It was also notarized naturally with our different mandated programs, which helped give the community a notoriety. But it's basically to lift the community, but also give us a national notarization, because in each city, you know, we have to vote to be part of a different city. So to have that in the Twin Cities is a very national benefit for the Twin Cities.
The students that were part of the competition were fantastic, and just seeing the outpouring of the organization and fraternity here from the convention center was just packed. So it's a great job you guys did in putting that on. Now, sum up the goal of the Omega Psi Phi Epsilon Rho chapter and what it is you think that you guys want to achieve moving forward.
Well, some of the goals that we still want to be visible in the community. It's very important that we continue to stay active in the community, be part of the mandated programs. The mandated programs is very important for our chapter and our fraternity, to keep us visible and active. Also to continue to work with the University of Minnesota Xi chapter to also bring in new members who may have similar ideas of ourselves. But those are the goals, is to continue to work in the schools, be visible, be a part of the community. It's more uplifting the community. And in order to do that, we have to have members and men's active and men visible.
Yeah, that's great. And your president, Alex Tiller, was here not too long ago. Is he the president, or what is his position called?
He's the bossless.
The bossless.
Yes, so that would be considered like the president of the chapter,
Well, great job he's doing, great job you're doing, and thank you for being able to be here with us today. Patrick Cunningham.
Thank you, Peter.
All right. Next, meet a former fellow for the Diversity Outreach Department of the Minnesota Historical Society. He has served in numerous leadership and volunteer positions. I'll talk with Phi Beta Sigma's local chapter director, Samuel Ndely, next on Urban Perspectives. Thanks for joining us. Our next guest is a graduate of the University of Minnesota with a major in strategic communications, public relations, and advertising for the School of Journalism. He is currently Minnesota's director of Phi Beta Sigma fraternity and their Zeta Nu Sigma chapter. Please welcome to Urban Perspectives, Samuel Ndely. Samuel, can I call you Sam?
Yes, it's fine.
I think that's what we call you. How you been, man?
I've been great.
Good,
I've been great. Thanks
good.
for having me today.
Thanks for being here. I know you're super busy, and having you on the set to talk a little bit about the organization, the fraternity, and what it's doing, we really wanted to have you here, so thanks for being.
Yeah.
Now, when and where did Phi Beta Sigma fraternity launch in the Twin Cities, and who are some of your notable members of the fraternity?
Well, thank you. Phi Beta Sigma, Zeta Nu Sigma chapter, which is our graduate chapter, was chartered on September 27th, 1977, here in the Twin Cities. And we have a Pi Eta chapter at the University of Minnesota, which was chartered in March 15th, 1985. And then Gamma Alpha Omicron at Winona State University was chartered in 2010. And so we have about 3 chapters here in the state at 2 universities and 1 grad chapter, and then we're about to charter a chapter at the St. Cloud State University in the fall. So we're growing here in the state of Minnesota. But as far as our notable members, and since we're going to be talking about social action, I'll name a few of the brothers that were really involved in the civil rights movement. John Lewis, A. Philip Randolph, and then you have Brother Huey P. Newton in the Black Power movement with the Black Panthers. And then you have, you have George Washington Carver. So just to name a few brothers. So.
And Sam Ndely.
One day, hopefully.
One day, you're already there, my brother. Now, how many active members comprise the Twin Cities chapter, Sam? And what attracted you to become part of the Phi Beta Sigma fraternity?
So in our grad chapter, we have about 25, 30 brothers that are active here. And we have a small but really cohesive group that's really focused on putting together a lot of the programs here locally in the Twin Cities. We got some brothers that are working at the University of Minnesota. We have some brothers that are doing some really great things when it comes to politics here in the in the state of Minnesota. Brother Ron Harris is our social action chair. He is the treasurer for the DFL party, and he's only 25 years old. So he's doing some really great things. And when it comes to some of the things that we're doing here locally, we have our March of Dimes, which is coming up.
So the programs that the social action programs that you talked about earlier as well, that we talked about, are coming up, and March of Dimes is one of the critical ones. So give us an overview of it and then some of the others that you guys are working with.
So March of Dimes is one of our national partnerships. We participate in the event every year. And our fraternity has been raising more and more money every year. This year we were already up to, locally here in Minnesota, we're up to about $1,200 in donations, which is the most that we've ever been able to contribute. We're number 3 as far as organizations that are participating in March of Dimes in the state of Minnesota.
And this is a national piece for the fraternity.
This is a national piece. So every chapter in the fraternity is charged to participate in March of Dimes. And then we pull together all the money that we raise and we submit a check to the organization nationally. And pretty much what March of Dimes is about raising funds and awareness for babies who are born premature and families who have to deal with that. And I've had a couple of family members and friends who have lost children to premature deaths, and have family members and friends who were born premature, you know, so who have survived. So it's a great organization.
Now you also, the organization is also working with President Obama's brothers, My Brother Keepers, right? Let's explain a little bit of what you're doing there.
So My Brother's Keeper is a program or initiative from President Obama that launched a couple years ago, and Phi Beta Sigma was one of the only Greek-led organizations to officially partner with President Obama on that. And at our conclave, our centennial last year, he gave greetings to our organization and noted that he was appreciative of our efforts in that initiative. We have a 10-point plan that we've charged our organization with in order to put together some programs and some initiatives. One of those actually is called Building Strong Fathers, which is in partnership with the March of Dimes. It's where we are trying to work with young fathers to help get them more ready for fatherhood and just be more present in the lives of their children.
Now, in the time we have left, what do you want our audience to know about the importance of your fraternity's social efforts?
Yes. So, like I said earlier, we have a lot of brothers that, historically that have been very involved with the civil rights movement. And when it comes to all the stuff that's going on here currently in 2015 with a lot of the issues with police brutality and things like that, we want to make sure that continuing to stay relevant when it comes to social action and civil rights. And Phi Beta Sigma is not going to stand quiet when it comes to any of those issues. So,
well, great work you're doing. I appreciate you, young brother, for being here, and we're starting to get to know each other. Keep up the good work, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you for watching Urban Perspectives, featuring discussions on social action programs. I would like to thank my sponsors, UCare, BMAnetworks.com, my guests, our shining star, and you, of course, the audience, for getting up with Urban Perspectives. Visit our website at urbanperspectives.tv for information on our guests and where you can find links to previous broadcasts. And help us grow by liking our Facebook page. Remember, there are so many amazing people and positive stories in our cities. Watch them right here on Urban Perspectives. Now enjoy the photos of the week featuring Turning Point's honors. I'm Pete Rhodes, your host. I'll see you next week.